So the goal of this video is to see if I can make bigger stars like this. These are a little bit bigger than 5/16 of an inch. But the goal is to see if I can do it in a more efficient manner. As of now, I just spin the star and it takes forever. Anyone that has spin stars knows that it takes forever. And the worst part is the first like sub 1/4 inch spinning them. It just takes forever and you end up with a lot of waste and there's all sorts of issues. So again, the goal of this video is to see if I can take 1/4 inch star plate. This is a 30 pin, pump them out a little quicker and take those and roll it into these larger diameter. So I really enjoyed pressing stars. I also quite enjoy rolling stars. My least favorite thing to do is rolling stars when they start out small. This is generally how they start out, just a tiny little seed. You roll it in there and you have to slowly roll it up until about that 1/4 inch. Up until that point, it's my least favorite thing to do. I hate it. Once I get it slightly sub 1/4 inch, that's when it starts to get fun rolling the stars. So my plan is I'm going to see if I can take a press star, skip all of my least favorite part, which is rolling it from small to medium, and with the press star to see if I can roll it and get it up into like a 5/16 and or greater star. So that's the point of this video. We'll see how that works out. So I've got this 30 pin star plate, which is 1/4 inch. Got it from Woody's Rocks just yesterday. Use this right here, this press right here, to go ahead and press up all of these. And I'm going to try something out. So these stars right here are 1/4 inch. If you look at all of those, as mentioned, it was 30 per plate. I think I did about 5 plates. There's probably 150 right here. Thing is, they're 1/4 inch. I want to bring them up to a larger diameter, so I'm going to try something out. I'm going to separate about half of them and then put it into this right here. This is my star milling kit that I used. What is that? A hoverboard tire motor, I should say. And I'm going to spin it. I'm not sure if it'll work out. I think it'll work though, so I'm going to try it out. I'm going to wet them, spin them, see if they'll round off slightly, and then add to them to try to increase the diameter. Hardest part with spinning stars is getting past the seed, making them really small, getting them up to a certain diameter. After that, they're pretty easy to spin and increase the diameter. It's just that first little bit that's really hard to get past, and that's going from the really small to slightly big. So doing it this way, I'm starting out with moderately big. We'll see if it works. 1/4 inch and make them a little bit bigger. Thing is, it doesn't have so much to do with size as it does how long it burns. So I'll do a quick burn test with this 1/4 inch and see how many seconds it burns. So this is the burn test of the 1/4 inch. I'm going to see how many seconds it burns. And we'll go. So that I measured that to be about 3.5 seconds. I'll have to double check. Thing is, I pressed these up last night with a little bit of moisture in them. So I really question whether it is a true 3.5 second burn. I wonder if there's still moisture in it, and for that reason it is burning slower. So as of now, 1/4 inch stars, they're burning about 3.5 seconds. As mentioned, I do think there's a little bit of moisture in them still because I pressed them up last night and put moisture in them. So I'm going to anticipate it's more like a 3-second burn. I want to add another 1 second to it or something. So as of now, I'm just going to run it for a couple of minutes. I'm going to get it nice and wet. And then hopefully it will round off the sides. So I'm just going to go like this for a couple of minutes and see if I can turn these little cylinders into more of a round shape. And I'll just keep adding moisture as I go. So far it's working surprisingly well. Hard to kind of tell, but those corners are rounding off. Also, if you look at this is pure water. When I spray it on the wall, it starts to tumble. I want it to tumble. That's what's going to round them off. Might have too much moisture because there's one sticking to the wall, a tiny bit. I'm just going to keep doing this. And if it gets to where it's just not tumbling, I'm going to agitate it like that to try to round the corners. So far so good. I've ran it for maybe a minute. As you can tell, they are really starting to round off. I'm going to keep running it. I'm going to turn it off. So if you look at this, I've ran it for maybe a couple of minutes. Okay. And again, they're really starting to round off. These are still 1/4 inch because I have not added any material to it. I'm going to get a little bit of slag on the side. That's interesting. So at this point, maybe I'll start adding material to it so that we can increase the diameter, therefore increase the burn rate. Not burn rate, but increase the length of burn. So again, right here, I've got a little bit of blue comp. I'm going to take this and then go ahead and add it to the front, just like that. And then I'll toggle back and forth between moisture and comp. I've got two different things here. This is just pure water, and then this right here is 33% 33% isopropyl alcohol, and the rest is water. I'll go back and forth. This stuff dries out a lot quicker, so if I want to really get it a bit more wet, I use the water and it stays wet longer. If I want it to dry up a little quicker, I use this. So I just find that I toggle back and forth between the two. So I'll go ahead and add the pump. Isopropyl alcohol. And then again, if I really want to wet it, I'm going to put some water right there. And we'll get where it really starts sticking to the side. And I'll go back and forth. Not if there's too much pump, then it has to waste that already. So with that, I'll use water. I'll stick to the side. Don't worry about it sticking, like that. Let's do some isopropyl alcohol. And we'll pump. Do some isopropyl. And if it's just sticking along like that, a little water. I'll get a little on the sides. So this is where I'm at so far. I'd say it's really not too much bigger than 1/4 inch, but it's definitely adding material to it. So one other thing is the sound. It's very subtle, you can barely hear it. It's definitely a lot more moist, they're getting bigger. Before it was more of a ting, 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 or a higher pitch. That's when they were harder. So I'm just gonna go, so it's definitely taking on more soft material. And sound-wise, that's what we're looking for. So I've added more. I like to spray the isopropyl alcohol directly on it. Maybe 4 small sprays, and then water. I'll put right in front. I'll get spraying like that. Some people will add it right in front of it. I like to add it right on top of the front, if that makes sense. So if you see a ton of loose stuff coming up and over, you have too much powder in there. You need more water and you need to add a little bit slower. So far that's where we're at. I don't know if that's 5/16 or so. I don't know. We'll keep spinning them. Slowly add to it, and so. Not a little too much there. Isopropyl right over it. It's pretty wet right now, so I'm going to go back to this again. If you want to get it spinning, sometimes if you put this right in front of it, it'll get it spinning. No, it's pretty wet. So see that? It's going nowhere. They're going to start sticking together, so I got to agitate it. put way too much powder in that time, so therefore we'll end up with more waste up top right here, sticking to the wall, sticking to the back. So this right here is what we've ended up with. I'm pleased with it. They're fairly round. This right here is what we started with. You can't really see it very well, but this is 1/4 inch. And we got it up to right there, sitting on top of a 3/8. And pretty much goes through, what is that? 2564. I think what I'll do next is I'll go ahead and let it dry, and then we'll do a burn test to see how long these are burning. If it's burning closer to 4 seconds or even 5 seconds, maybe I'm content and good to go. If it's not quite burning there, maybe I'll want to lengthen the burn, and I do that by adding more comp. So this is something that I've made out of flooring. I cut it down, took a drill press, and put it through a ton of times. This right here, I'm not sure what the size is. This is 1/4 inch, and it slowly goes up into size until this right here. And I can run it through all of those, and you'll find that some of the bigger ones stay up top, some of the smaller ones fall down below. That's how you separate them. So when you're rolling stars, you generally start out with something really small. This right here is some kind of a pasta. I forget what it's called, but it's very small. You throw some into there, wet them down. That way the composition will actually stick to something. There's no way to start a star unless you have something subtle and small to start with. Another thing people will use is bird shot out of a shotgun bullet. Downside of that is it's a lot of weight, not to mention lead in the environment. I find that when I start my stars using this kind of stuff right here, I generally will end up with some waste. And by waste, I mean this right here. If you look in there, there's a variability of sizes. Just like this. So you've got some that are just tiny and some that are in between, and you'll end up with big stuff like this, and then you'll have some of these really small fine stuff, and it's kind of a waste of product. So part of my goal with this video was to see how much waste product I end up with, and when I refer to waste product, I mean these tiny little things that there's not much you can use for them unless you try to roll them over again. So I'll go ahead and put them through some screens to see how many really tiny waste product I end up with. So the end result is that right there, very, very little waste product. And what those are little pieces of these breaking off and probably starting their own star. When you start really small and mill all the way up to large, you end up with way more of that. So this was what I'd call a success. I ended up with a ton more of the big product with a lot less waste product. And it's not true waste product. I'll probably throw this in something like a fountain or just, I don't know, a crappy shell or something like that. One other thing I wanted to show is when you roll stars, you get some of this as well. So that's two stuck together. Very common to have that. I just broke it apart. Now I've got the proper size. Once again, the longer you're rolling, the more you'll get more of that. So if you start out with a really small thing, such as this seed, you're going to end up with way more of the double stars, which a double star is just a overly large one because two stuck together. Also has a lot to do with skill and wetting it and drying it by adding the composition. But yes, overall, I'd say I'm very pleased with that method. So now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and run this. It's a blow dryer, pumps into this, puts air up and through. I tend to cover it. Sometimes I'll put it on a timer, and I'll also do something like that. So it puts most of the air, the hot air, in there. Right now, I'll have it on one of the lower settings. I'll have it on air and then heat, but not the high heat. I'll go middle heat. Sometimes I'll go high. Of course, there's concerns with going too high. But we'll go ahead and run that for a while. And then after that, once I know they're very dry, I'll go ahead and take one of these out and burn it, and I'll count the seconds to see how long it burns and see if I want to add more material to add more burn time on the star, or if that is plenty. And then one last thing to cover is how long do you want the star to burn. That'll depend. So in a smaller shell, maybe you'll want it to burn 3 seconds or so, 2 seconds. This one on the right, that's probably like a 2-second burn. So in a smaller shell, such as this guy right here, you may just want a 2-second burn. But when it comes to big shells like this right here's a 5-inch. Gosh, if I can pick it up. This 5-incher, you're going to want something like that that's going to have more hang time when it comes to the burn. This maybe burns for like 5 seconds or 4 seconds. That way it doesn't blow and then just it's not very impressive. You don't want the fire to touch ground either. But with these bigger shells, they're up a lot higher, and so they don't generally touch the ground. I mean, they will if you've got a big enough star, but the hang time is going to be much, much more than one of these small guys that don't go quite as high. Another thing is this right here. I'm going to put these in some of my rockets. My rockets go very high, so I want to increase the diameter quite a bit, so it's got a long hang time. I don't see it falling for 10 seconds and touching ground, so I'm going to make some bigger stars as well. So the goal of this video was to see if I could take a 1/4-inch pressed star and take it and roll it and make it more round, and to take it to more of like a 5/16 or even, I don't know, a sub 3/4, of course, but inch star. And also in doing so, try to do it in a way that I end up with less of these tiny little guys. And I've never tried it before, but I figured I'd give it a try. I'd say overall very, very successful. I'm very happy with the end product. And when it comes to my bigger stars, I'll probably either pump them or roll them. But if I do roll them, I'm going to pump them in 1/4 inch and then roll it. Another thing you can do is you can pump the star. As mentioned, this star to the right is 1/4 inch. You can pump the star. Let's say this is in green on the right side. Pump it at 1/4 inch, throw it in there, and then roll it. And rather than doing green, you can switch to blue or any other color. And that way, when it blows, it'll blow blue for maybe 2 seconds and turn green until it burns out. And you can do multiple colors. You can do, 3 colors, whatever, just depends on how big you make the star and how many colors you roll onto it. One other thing I wanted to mention was doing it this way, I literally put it through a 1/4 inch screen. This is what fell through, and everything else were the nice big 3/8 inch size. When you start off small and you roll all the way through from start to finish, you end up with so many different diameters. And I can't tell you how tedious it is to go through multiple of this to separate them all out. So starting with 1/4 inch and then putting it through, rolling it and then putting it through a 1/4 inch screen. I only had to do one screen and that's what came out of it. And everything else was big. I didn't have to go through 5, 6, 7 different screens to screen them all out. And that takes so much time to do. I'd say that of everything, that's one of my favorite things. Also, when I rolled this, I didn't show you guys the entire roll because I didn't want this to be too long of a video, but I probably rolled it a total of 10 minutes at the most. Probably less than that, maybe been 5 to 7. I stopped a lot to film and etc., but it went extremely, extremely fast. In the past, I've rolled stars and it's taken, 30 minutes to roll stars. So this, I'd say, increases the speed of making larger stars as well. So again, this is comparing the two. The one on the bottom is that 1/4 inch pumped star, and then the one on the top is the 1/4 inch pumped star that I rolled, rounded off, and added material to. The goal was to try to increase the burn time, hoping for like a 5-second burn time. So I'll go ahead and post the burn time on the screen right now. So overall, I'd say it was pretty successful. The main goal of this video was to see if I could pump the star, cut down on time, and also cut down on waste. So overall, very satisfied. I haven't primed them yet. I still need to prime them. I think when it comes to larger stars between 5/16 and 3/4, that's how I'm going to do it. Unless I make my own star plate and pump them at like 3/4 inch or something. So.
Fight the fear when I feel like dying. I'm trying to fly high, but I'm not a pilot, can't deny it. There's some days I feel idiotic, just a product of a system where you're lucky just to make a dollar. That ain't gonna stop me cause my grind.
Just so you guys see what my life is like, this is what I come out to. Got a pig and 2 dogs, and this dog right here, what on earth is around that neck? Needless to say, I've got children who dress up my animals. It seems wrong.